But other than that, I'm ready.
Okay, great. All right, so where do you work?
I work for VBA,
V
Veterans Benefits Administration.
Okay, and how long have you been there?
I've been with the VA in total for 5 years, but I've been with VBA for 2 years.
Okay. Is the VA as a whole, is it your first federal position or first federal organization that you work for?
Um, as a federal employee, yes, but I've worked like under grants and contracts with the government at Native centers. So,
Okay. Okay. So you've been in this position for 2 years, and what do you do?
so I'm the claims processor, so I get veterans warranted exams, look through medical records. I'm also a subject matter expert, so I help train new employees, as
Mhm.
well as employees on my team.
Okay, can you say what you're an expert in?
Just all around anything with adjudication. So when it comes to like development for a claim, if there's any discrepancies with medical records, that's where I fall in line and go based upon the manual that we have.
Okay, so what kind of claims are these?
Like PACT Act claims for like compensation benefits,
Okay.
as well as like I mean anything really like to do with families or to do with capacity of a veteran, character of discharge, really anything.
Okay. Um, do you have a do you have vets in your family? Were you in the military?
I do. So both of my parents are retired naval officers. My husband's currently active duty Navy,
Okay.
and all of my siblings are in the military. So I'm pretty in there.
Yeah. That's kind of the pattern with everybody who works for the VA. Like either you were in the military yourself or in close proximity with a lot of people who are in the military.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So in your position, you're kind of assessing like the type of benefits that veterans can receive or their families can receive. Is that right?
So it's I guess the streamlined process would be like a veteran is claiming some sort of disability.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one who goes through and assesses like are they warranted for a exam to service connect this disability. When it comes to families, it's like we process claims for like educational benefits, as well as like adult children who don't have the capability of taking care of themselves or like housing aid and attendance. It's a very broad scope, the VBA.
Yeah, that
We're the
sounds
money
like it.
guys.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, so how much money can a vet receive from the benefits?
So I can't give an amount per se because it fluctuates depending on where the veteran lives. Like some
Okay.
places have a higher cost of living, so of course they're going to get a higher pay.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all depends on like service connection, like the percentage. So I can't really give a number.
Okay, interesting. Um, could you say like maybe the max or the min?
No, because again,
Okay.
it all depends. There's a lot of factors in it. I mean, I can say like the range that I've seen. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some people get like as low as like $118, and I've seen
Mm-hmm.
people get like 5 grand to 6 grand a month.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, it all depends on what your service connected for, and like the percentage wise, and where you live.
Yeah. Wow. So do you ever go in person to assess these claims?
I don't go in person because I'm not the medical provider.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just more so going based upon the evidence that the Department of Defense is giving us, that the veteran is giving us, whatever medical records that I can find from the VA, and putting it all together and making a nice picture for the examiner to look at.
Okay. So when you're collecting the evidence, do you ever see potential evidence of fraud, waste, or abuse?
No, I would say everybody has a legit claim,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it's up to their experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say fraud, waste, and abuse. I would definitely say, um, are there claims where I know that I'm not going to find anything? Yes. But I will still look through all of the evidence that I have
Mm-hmm.
and try to make a way for the veteran because that's the most important thing is they've done their time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to us to try to get them what they're claiming.
Okay. So in the instance where you're not seeing the evidence that you need, what would you do?
I'd reach out to the veteran. Like I first, of course, will try to call them, but
Mm-hmm.
of course, we're in different time zones. Like I work in one time zone, but I might be calling a veteran on like a different time zone. So if I don't reach them that way, if they have an email, I'll email them and say, "Hey, reach out to me. Um, or you could respond to this email. This is my question." Or I'll send a letter,
Mm-hmm.
give them time to respond.
Okay. There's somebody else from the VBA who was, I think she was an LPN, I think,
Okay. Okay.
um, who had said that she had gone in person to do these assessments and had seen potential evidence of waste, fraud, and abuse with like very expensive boats and cars and stuff like that.
I mean, do I think that some people will spend lavishly? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's in any, I think any person who might have an influx of money out of nowhere because some of these claims don't, the adjudication process can go like well beyond a year. So they get backdated money. So, I mean, if they have, kept up on their bills and that backdated money is just an excess of money,
Mm-hmm.
then I mean, I would say if I was in a position, I definitely would spend something for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, mm, so then if people are receiving these benefits, are they also allowed to work at the same time?
Yes, they are
Okay.
allowed to work at the same time. I would say there's a process called individual unemployability. Individual unemployability is saying, hey, my conditions are so severe that I cannot work. It's kind of like similar, if I could compare it to like Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and those they do keep a hefty like review of it
Mm-hmm.
because you only could make a certain amount of money, like even collecting from other government assistance in order to be eligible for that benefit.
Mm-hmm. So it's not like unemployment where you say, I have this job, I'm earning this amount, so I need to deduct the amount that I'm earning for my job from my benefits that I
Mhm.
receive. You just receive the full benefits.
So it goes based upon like an exam with that too, right? So if a veteran is like, hey, my PTSD is so severe that I cannot keep a job, I'm currently unemployed, we will get an ex and they're already service connected for PTSD, we'll get an exam for them and ask the examiner to make an opinion on like, is his PTSD so severe that he cannot work?
Mm-hmm.
And if the examiner makes that opinion and it then goes to rating, and rating's like, yes, okay, he cannot make that, he cannot hold a job with this PTSD, then he'll get the benefit. But you don't outright get the benefit. It's a whole process in itself.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay, so then in your job right now, have you experienced a reduction in staff due to
Oh,
Doge?
so much.
Mm-hmm.
I would say honestly, it's more due to the DRP,
Mm-hmm.
because they've been given that out, and a lot of people have felt the weight of the administration. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people have taken it. Now, my position as a veteran service representative, and even like a lot of positions under the VBA, like rating and um, like VR&E employees, we were supposed to be mission critical and not able to take that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people were able to get a like I don't want to say waiver. I don't know like the technical term, but waiver is like the only thing like they let them go through the process because they were trying to reduce so many people.
Hmm.
And then a lot of people have retired. So we've been working overtime since the administration came in.
Really?
Some of like our parts have been working overtime prior to because the cases have been so backlogged, but now we all under VBA, at least in my at my regional office, are required to work overtime since the administration.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So how
So
many hours do you put in per week?
So right now, I would say it's very minimal. It's 15 hours this month, but it fluctuates and it changes monthly.
Hmm.
Whereas like we started at 5 hours and then it like went to 10, now it's 15 maximum. And then, I mean, sorry, last month it was 15 maximum, and this month it's 15, but uncapped OT hours. So the minimum is 15. But if you want to work over that, it's uncapped.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like in 1 extra hour every workday.
hmm At least, yeah. And they like my regional office has it to where it's like you can't work 1 hour overtime. Like on weekdays, it has to be if you're gonna work overtime on a weekday, it has to be 2 hours in
Hmm.
a day.
Hmm.
And if you're gonna work on the weekend, it's 3 or more hours.
Wow. Hmm. Okay. That's a little frustrating, but okay.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. Uncapped overtime.
hmm
They really, really need you guys to do more.
Yeah, they like I, of course, am not a big wig, so I don't see the actual numbers when it comes to like production, like how many claims are coming in versus how many claims are putting out.
Hmm.
Um, but I know that they have definitely increased our caseload.
Hmm.
And because a lot of things get stuck in limbo when it comes to the exam, because of course we wait on the examiner, we don't want to rush an examiner giving their report because that could be an error if
Hmm.
they don't give the right report. But that's like, there's definitely a lot more claims coming into my regional office.
Yeah. Does that make you feel pretty stressed?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100% makes me feel stressed. Make my team that I work under is definitely very stressed because they are like production, production, production. We need these claims, but we also get audited.
Mm,
So we can go as fast as we want to, but that means that there's more room for an error.
yeah.
And that error counts against us. And then like you get so many errors and you're on a PIP. And
Mm,
then from a PIP, we don't even our director was like, we don't really know how to process beyond PIPs anymore.
yeah.
So yeah, it's been pretty like stressful when it comes to like making sure the quality and the quantity balance, but also making sure to stay in that like gray area of like we need to at least push out more claims.
Yeah. And that's interesting because so many people have taken the DRP, but now you have uncapped overtime. So it seems like they're spending more money for you guys to do more work when they could have just had the same people stay and do the same level of work.
Exactly, exactly. And these are like one of the people that left from my team was literally 15 years in. He was like the station subject matter expert. Everybody went to him, but the stressors of I don't want to say just the administration itself, but the stressors of like the workload and everything, he was like, I don't really need to do this. I'm a veteran. Like
Hmm.
I can retire right now and be good.
Hmm. Yeah. So for yourself personally, you're not doing like crazy amount of overtime.
I am doing a crazy amount of overtime. I would say like this next 2 weeks, I'm doing 30 hours of overtime.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And that's for personal reasons.
Yeah.
But it it's available to me, and if I'm gonna get paid to do more work and help more veterans, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if are you getting time and a half for it?
Yeah, we're getting a time and a half, so it's a good like chunk of change, but also like in reality, it's very taxed too. So like I'll probably see half of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So has any policy changes that have been implemented by the Trump administration affected your work?
Everything affects our work that he implements. I mean, I would say like the most recent is like the union protections. Of course, we have no union protections now, so everybody is very on edge. Like I was explaining, like all the auditing that we
Mm-hmm.
have, the more overtime we have, the more we get audited. Like we're only supposed to be audited 3 claims a month, but if you're
Mm-hmm.
putting in more hours, they're going to audit you more. So that's more room for error.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, do you do more overtime? Do you do the bare minimum? Like, what do
Mm-hmm.
you do? And there's obviously no union to like fight for you if you were to, have the unfortunate event of having one claim with like 6 errors
Yeah,
all in one claim. So
yeah. Were you an active union member before?
I was an active union member. Well, still am. Just not, I guess, under the current VA policies.
Mm-hmm.
But I still pay into the union because I still believe within the union and their fight for our rights as federal workers.
Mm-hmm. Has a union ever helped you in any situations?
They have actually. I mean, my husband was getting orders to Japan, and my regional office would not let me take this job to Japan, even though at
Mm.
that point we were all working, one day in the office. They have a VBA out in Japan. So my union actually helped to talk with like my director's office to get me some sort of protection as a spouse. Um, didn't end up going to Japan because, the military changes orders like we change clothes. So,
Mm-hmm.
but like they've helped me in getting that protection as a spouse.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. So if you guys would have moved, you would have been able to go into the office there.
Yeah, I would have been able to take my job there because it's which I didn't really know because they don't really like I don't want to say they don't let you know about spouse protections, but it's not a union. So when the unions were active, you could be on union time. But with the spouse group, it's just like kind of a club.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to let me know what protections I had and let me know like I could transfer, like HR is supposed to help me transfer my job if there's availability or something similar to that new location. It's their
Mm-hmm.
responsibility to. It shouldn't be me applying to a whole new position, waiting for the process. So that actually helped a lot.
Yeah, that's great. So right now, do you have to go into your office every day?
I personally do not because I am on a reasonable accommodation, but have been on a reasonable accommodation for a little, I mean, before the administration. Um, but my whole office, besides, us on reasonable accommodations, are in office and it's tragic. It's tragic
Mm-hmm.
because our regional office actually in November moved to a new office and they were not prepared um because it was sped up on the timeline. And so the bandwidth that they have there for all the people that are in there, it doesn't work. It doesn't
Yeah.
work. Like the service is slow. They want us all to be on cameras for meetings, which has not been successful at all.
Mm-hmm.
Even the people within the office, they want them to be on camera. But it defeats the purpose when we can't really communicate. Like the feed is messed up. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's really silly. So for your coworkers who are in person, have you heard of any issues of like noise or people sharing desks or like being out in the hallway or anything like that?
Yeah, it's definitely social hour there. From what I hear, it's not really as productive as I think the administration wanted it to be because
Hmm.
people haven't seen their coworkers in sometimes years because when we had the telework agreement, we only had to go in one time a week and not everybody had to go in on the same day.
Hmm.
So definitely heard that it's social hour. Bathrooms have broken down. A lot of traffic. Our parking situation there is paid parking, so they have to pay for parking. And in the area where I live, it's already super expensive to live, and now they have to account for paying for parking.
Hmm.
And the parking lot's always full. So then they have to park off base. I mean, off base, off off campus. And then of course the veterans too. The veterans, there's we only had a certain number of parking spots for the veterans. So once those are all out, like the veterans then have to pay for parking.
Hmm.
So it's a lot. It's very crowded from what I
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah. Have you heard of anybody like having their office, their desk out in a hallway or a public location?
I have not heard that. They've been pretty, I would say they have been pretty okay with the space in the cubicles because we have multiple floors.
Hmm.
We have, I think it's like from floor 10 to floor 6.
Okay.
So we have multiple floors. But I mean, they're still very tight space cubicles.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
very roomy.
Yeah. So then for yourself with your reasonable accommodation, have you had any issues or pushback from the administration?
Um, from the administration, not themselves, but I would say this is we're all under review right now, not even annual reviews. We're all under review. And
Hmm.
I'd say that that would be influenced by the administration
Hmm.
because they are still trying to get everybody to go back in the office. But yeah, we're all under review. One of my coworkers actually went in because her laptop was not working, so she had to go in. And she randomly had a review for her RA and was told that she had to start going back to work.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
she doing okay?
She is fighting it. And of course, while you're doing that, they put you on temporary reasonable accommodations.
Hmm.
So she's been able to stay at home, thankfully. But I mean, I would say that psychologically, that's always going to be horrible for anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you know when you have your review?
Nope, we don't even know who's reviewing it.
Okay.
I asked my like direct leadership. I was like, "Hey, I understand this is a policy not put in place by you. It's put in place by like big VA, but like how do we know who's going through our medical documents? Like who's reviewing this? What background do they have? I'm gonna assume it's HR based, but that's not always necessarily true. So we don't know anything. It's just a blind review.
Okay. And then what would happen if they like rejected your current RA?
I mean, I guess I would go through like the appeals process. But I don't know how that looks now that there's no union. So,
Hmm.
I hope that it's pretty standard in that they would keep me on a reasonable accommodation temporarily until they do whatever review, but I don't know like how that looks now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Um, so in your job, do you have you experienced any uh effects of the DEI cuts?
Mm, no, I wouldn't say I have felt any effects of it because we haven't had anybody like in my current regional office get terminated under DEI. I do know that there was like in the spouses group there was like one of the lead people got her job was under DEI and that got cut, but not directly. within my regional office, no.
Okay, that's good. Um, so as far as any reorgs, have you heard if the VBA or your specific team or agency is going to get reorged?
No reorganization plans that have been released to us. Whenever we have meetings with like our director, because actually I should probably say we have an acting director. Our actual director retired when the
Mm-hmm.
administration came in. So
Mm-hmm.
we have an acting director who is also the director of a different location and within my same state. And all the answers we get are, I don't know, we'll find out. There's never any questions that are answered for us. And that's not to say that they're kind of like putting blinders up for us, but we do know for a fact that there are discussions that they have about our organization at a higher capacity, and that information doesn't trickle down. So
Yeah, yeah. So then how does that make you feel? You don't know if you're getting reorged. You have unlimited overtime that they're encouraging you guys to take. Your RA is under review. This seems like a lot of stress and anxiety. Like this seems really unreasonable.
yeah, it definitely is a lot more stressful to even like say that I work for the federal government. Like it's not anything that I blasted before this, but like it I thought that I would progress as a federal employee, there'd be more opportunities. But now it seems like it doesn't matter how much work you do, you're never gonna be good enough because we want people who are loyal to us to make it.
hmm Do you
So
ever consider leaving your job?
I have considered stepping out of my position, um, but because of retirement wise and how invested I am, at 5 years within the VA, it's hard to like think about starting over. Is there some position that's going to compensate me the same way, going to work with me the same way as a military spouse? It's very hard to like take that leap because there's so many other things that could be affected by it.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, I totally hear you. Um, can you say if there have been any positives that the Trump administration has affected your job with?
Not that I've seen. I mean, I guess we're getting a 1% raise.
1%.
Yeah,
Okay.
while inflation in my state is 2.4. So,
Wow. That's terrible. That
yeah.
is terrible. Yikes. So, what other challenges are you experiencing at work?
A lot of burnout. Definitely a lot of burnout between all of the employees. We actually don't have any new trainees. So we have nobody like moving through. We have people leaving, but no people coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, with the adjudication process, things change daily. Like where one thing was okay one day, the next day it's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with the fast changes and the stressing of like productivity, I don't think it's a fair like way to rate employees. I know they're like merit based, but they've increased our availability time. So it used to be like we could be available 75% that allow us to get our training done. If we wanted to take a day off, our workload wouldn't be affected. Now they've increased it to 80%. So we have less time to do the training, which we need to do the training because things change daily.
Mm-hmm.
But we have less time to do the training. Actually, our in-class training with our training team are only 15 minutes.
That's
Only
it.
15 minutes. What
Wow.
questions can be answered in 15 minutes?
Wow. What kind of training is that?
Exactly. Because they want our availability to be at 80%, they want to reduce our training. But like on big subjects like character of discharge, where you have to extensively comb through records to see like what happened with this veteran and is it a bars to benefit or is it are they okay with being honorable per chapter 17, it's it's hard for us to get that training because we have to be available to do claims.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it seems like the lack of training would also increase your likelihood of errors and
Hmm.
increase the likelihood of having audits.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And it's very scary to think of like, did I do absolutely everything on that last claim that I worked or on that claim yesterday? Like I religiously talk about like claims outside of work, not like PHI information or anything like that, but like the process of like, this is what happened, this is what was claimed. I know I did this, I know I tapped this because I want to make sure, and that's so hard to like think of work outside of work
Hmm.
because you have life outside of work, but like that's what's going on with a lot of my coworkers and myself is like we want to make sure that we rethink, make sure we touch everything that we needed to touch. Because if we didn't and our auditor sees that, that's against us.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like they want you to work harder, but they're not giving you the tools to do your job better. So
Hmm.
to me, it looks like they're trying to make you fail.
That's what it feels like. It really does feel like they want us to get enough errors to where we end up on a pip and we're in that like red area. Um, and eventually just let us go. And we
Yeah,
don't have the union protections for somebody to fight for us. So
yeah, yeah. That's stressful. Okay, so you said lack of training is an issue.
hmm.
What else are some challenges that you're experiencing?
I would say the like lack of transparency. Like I was explaining to you, like we know for a fact that there are higher level meetings going on, and we know that there is information that could be shared to us, but is not shared to us. Um, for example, like you were saying, reorganization, like I don't doubt that they're going to try to reorganize the VBA in some way to make it more efficient. But we'll probably find out about that long while after the process has already started. So, um, and then like I just want to talk for like my VRNE, like people who work within our organization, my regional office especially, they have caseloads of like they only have like 12 employees and caseloads of 400.
Wow.
Yeah. Upwards of 400, and they're expected to process these veterans for like education and occupations within a certain time, but it takes like 18 months to see them because they're not hiring anybody. They're trying to take people actually from my side, which is like processing the compensation claims, and move them over to the other side, but they have so many restrictions on like you need to have this certain degree, you need to have this much experience that it's hard for even people on my side to go over there.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys on a hiring freeze
Yeah, we're all on hiring freeze. Yeah.
until
They're trying to
October?
internal, yeah. They're trying to internally transfer people over. But of course that's a process within itself. So
Yeah. So do you foresee them lifting the hiring freeze in October?
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
We need people. And
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's people like they say that are merit based and not so much loyalist.
Yeah.
Because I have heard that they do actually have like questions that are in that realm on applications, although they've said that they've taken it off. I've heard that people have recently applied to some positions and it's there.
Yes, I
And
applied last week and they are there.
yeah, but that makes no sense to me. Like, I think what made me the most mad with this administration and under Secretary Doug Collins is they had like a Christianity like email that went out to us. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, what does it matter what religion
Yeah.
anybody is? It doesn't, how does this help a veteran?
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't help a veteran at all to know that you as a whatever religion you're in is being persecuted against at work. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me that they would create a whole email and waste resources on that.
Yeah. So I have two questions. Let's go off this religion email that came out. So I've heard about it, but can you just explain in detail what, as much as you can, what the email said?
Yes. So the email was to the effect of, hey, we realize that people are against Christianity. And if you feel like you have ever been put in a position where you have been treated unequal, let us know. Send an email here and we'll explore it.
Wow. And that came from who?
That was from Secretary Doug Collins through, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. It's the ooh, I'm blanking on the name. It's through Doug Collins, but like the message was sent out by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like the department, not the department, like the executive, I want to say like HR person.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I
Yeah.
can't think of his name right now. It's like blank.
Yeah. So did they talk about other religions, or was
No,
it just focused on Christianity?
just focus on Christianity.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did it say if you see anti-Christian values, report here, anything like that?
It was like the actual verbiage, I'm not 100% sure, but it was very much so Christian based. Like even the email that they had to send it to was like something Christianity at VA.gov.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Why does anybody's religion matter as long as we're all serving the same purpose and, the mission is successful, which is getting these veterans, their families, and their caregivers the benefits that they need? Why does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
Why does somebody have to feel like they can't express their religion or fear for retaliation because they don't follow the same religion?
Yeah. Do your coworkers talk about religion at work?
Mm-mm. I've never heard anybody talk about religion at work.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
I guess like conversation with my coworkers is mostly like claims based.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody is really like, what religion are you?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I don't know if there's a law or a rule that says don't discuss religion at work, but I think it's just generally implied, like there's a separation. If you're working for the government, you don't talk about religion.
Right. Coworker to coworker, there's no law that I know of. I know like in a administrative setting, you're
Hmm.
not supposed to bring up religion, and I couldn't tell you what law that is, but I know that that exists. Um,
In an administrative setting, what does that mean?
like if you were to have a meeting with your direct leadership and it's supposed to be about work, they can't say, "Well, have you heard this Bible verse?" Like it
Oh,
can't
yeah.
be in that way. Um, and then also like now they're able to, I know there's the
Yeah.
Hatch Act, right?
Hmm.
Where you can't talk about politics, but now we're able to talk about politics and wear buttons and hats with what party we support. So like for me that's like for me that's a conflict of interest because why do I need to know who you supported? Like I don't know.
So you're now allowed to discuss politics at work?
hmm hmm we're allowed to put up if somebody has a cubicle, they're allowed to put up what flag of party that they support. It's not against the Hatch Act.
Really? That
Yeah.
that was a new directive that came out?
It was a directive that came out, oh my gosh. I want to say it was around the same time that I saw like the Christianity email. Like
Hmm.
you don't have to be ashamed of what party you support,
Hmm.
which I agree, you don't have to be ashamed, but also like you don't have to display it. You can't get in trouble for displaying it.
Yeah. Mm, yeah, I mean, both of those things that kind of defeats the purpose of a government job. Like the purpose of the government job is to keep the government working.
Exactly.
And if you involve religion into it and you involve politics into it, then that can hinder and distract from actually getting the job done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Create unnecessary friction and
Tension and unnecessary arguments because you never know how passionate anybody is about any policy.
yeah, and people can just be like, I need help on this, but I don't want to ask Jim because
Right.
I know that he's a MAGA supporter. Or
Right.
I don't want to ask Jim even though he's a subject matter expert, but I know that he's anti-Christian or
Hmm.
whatever.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's digging too much into like our personal lives when it shouldn't be about our personal life. You're there to work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. So, I want to ask you about this merit-based system. What do you
mhm.
know about it?
Well, I would say prior to the administration, because of course I don't know what the administration's gonna do. We have had like tests and quizzes on what we know as a VSR, as a representative. And based upon those results, you'll either get trainings like, hey, you don't know too much about this, we're gonna give you these trainings. Um, or like, hey, you're okay, you don't need any more trainings. They are not doing that. So I don't know what merit base they're looking at. I know for my current position, when I came over from like the VHA side to VBA, I had to know, of course, like basic terminology, like medical terminology, basic um organizations for the military, like in their terminology, but I got the training I needed through the training team.
Mm-hmm.
It's no training team at this time.
Hmm.
So I don't know how that would happen. Though there is a hiring freeze, I don't know how the training is going to happen when there is no freeze or
Yeah.
when things open back up.
Yeah. So prior to this merit-based system, you would have uh, tests and assessments to see what trainings you needed.
Hmm.
And now there's no training team, there is no assessments.
Mm-mm.
So it's unclear what this merit-based system actually is.
It's very unclear. I don't know what they mean by merit-based system other than like what they've been pushing to us, which is productivity and quality.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the only thing I can say is like merit-based. Like as long as you stay within your pay schedule's quality, then you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so in this memo that came out from OPM, I think it was like June or something like that,
Mhm.
um, where they talked about we want to implement these five loyalty-based questions basically on the new hire applications. They also talked about merit-based systems. Um, and yeah, they had said that they want to implement tests and certain assessments to make sure that everybody's qualified. But they also said that they wanted to get rid of education requirements for new applicants. They wanted to pick from, encourage applicants, new applicants from religious universities, land grant universities, no elite education systems like Harvard.
And I don't want to say that you can't find good people in all of those systems because I'm sure there are people in all those systems, but in the current way that things are, I don't know how they would get that proper training. I don't know that they would be able to succeed because we don't have that proper training.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like myself or like another subject matter expert where we get questions all day and not be able to keep up with our own productivity.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they're going to implement that if there's not going to be the proper training. And we already had tests. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they would then change that system when it's working.
Yeah. They also want to encourage new applicants to apply from like 4-H clubs and
Yeah.
yeah, from they want people from criminal backgrounds like law enforcement officers, people who studied criminology and like things like that nature. They want those type of people to apply for federal jobs. That's their big push that I read.
Yeah,
Um,
that's all fine and dandy, but like they need to also have the knowledge that I was supposed to have before I came in here. You can't say like, well, they came from this country club and we like that country club, so he can go.
hmm
No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't work. It wouldn't be beneficial to the veterans to have somebody who knows absolutely nothing to come in and not get the efficient training.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what is a main message that you would like the public to know about your experiences?
I want the public to know that as a federal worker, I am here for my mission. My mission is to be here for veterans, families, and their caregivers. I am not here to do fraud, waste, and abuse.
hmm
I am strictly here to help the community that has raised me and is raising my kids and is very dear to me.
hmm Yeah. Yep. Is there anything else that you would like to add about our conversation that you feel like you missed or need to elaborate on?
Um, I mean, not much other than like we're not the enemy. We're not the enemy. I know that's a very big thing, and it's actually something that I've struggled with like with my current family. There are people in my current family who voted for a current president, and I'm just like I can't talk politics with you because you see how this directly affects me, but yet you choose to put on sunglasses and go upon your merry way. So I would just
Yeah.
say, like, we're not the enemy. Like, I'm a real person. I have no ill will towards anybody. I'm just here paying my taxes, raising
hmm
kids, and taking care of veterans the way I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Just out of curiosity, what has those family members, what was their response to all the like the cuts and the DRP and the VEER and all that stuff?
So, both of my family members that voted for the current administration, one's a veteran,
hmm
and one is actually in the National Guard. He actually went to LA.
Oh wow.
So I would say the veteran family member is very quiet. He's very quiet because I think he's like processing that a lot of the people who are there to help him are now like cut in half. Whereas my National Guard family member is like very rah-rah, like people should follow the rules and
Mm-hmm.
like he's very like I hope I don't know if this is gonna get cut out, but he's like very like libtards type terminology. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to even appeal to him, but I think when it directly affects him, because he's obviously been getting a lot of benefits from this and being like Title 10 and Title 32 and getting paid active duty pay. I think
Mm-hmm.
when it directly affects him to where he has to go somewhere he doesn't want to go, then he'll change his tune.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Last question. So, does he feel like it's necessary to be there in LA?
He felt it was. He felt it was. And I can't even give you like his like total explanation other than the fact that he's like illegal should not be here.
I see. Okay. I see.
Yeah. It's very hard to talk to somebody who's already like made up in their mind like that other person's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me, and I'm sorry about all the stress, but I hope you at least get paid.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging us. I definitely watch your content a lot.
Oh,
So
thanks.
thank you for acknowledging us and like giving me the opportunity to explain to you everything that's going on. I hope it helps somebody and make some kind of change. We'll see.
I hope so too. All right.
Okay.
Have a
Well,
good
enjoy your
night.
night.
Bye.
Bye.